Well, this is definitely going to be a little different than what I usually do. I think it's the first time I've recorded uh, in the dark like this. So it's new, it's different, it's interesting. I hope I don't get in trouble. I don't, well, I don't think so, but yeah, I've been wanting to record a little something for a while now. Unfortunately, of course, kids are a blessing. I have a 3-month old daughter, and or a new daughter because I have two. Well, I have four in total, but I got two babies, and as you can imagine, they are time consuming. I have time for nothing. Right now, I'm off of work until January the 2nd. I work in a factory, as some of you know, and so we are in a shutdown phase right now where the factory is not in operation until January. So it's good. I can be at home. I can rest. Really enjoying my time doing some reading and whatnot. And so earlier today, I wanted to record something, but my daughter had other plans in mind, and so here we are. I have to record now. But I've been wanting to record for a while now, especially now during Advent. Is the first time I think that I've celebrated Advent proper. Um, it's a new process, it's a new kind of feel to different things. And when I say Advent, I mean like, using the candles, doing readings every week, really meditating on what's going on, uh, understanding the meaning of the colors and the vestments during liturgy in the church and whatnot. So it's new and it's a fresh, and I feel invigorated or reinvigorated. It's been a delight, and so I've been wanting to record something regarding this 4 weeks of Advent. But there's always something coming up, and so I don't have the time. But I was so impacted yesterday during the service that I thought, you know what, I need to record something. I'll just put my mind into this. And so in the artistic world, there is something called visual uh, li- uh, li- lethargy or visual lethargy, and it's pretty much a phenomenon that happen you see happen when so you get accustomed to, for example, a painting in your house, or when you first buy a painting. Just an example, when you first buy a painting, or when you first move into a new house, or you go vacation in, I don't know, someplace in the Caribbean or in the mountains or whatever. You are, the first impact that you have is this shock, and you are in awe, and you think that you're in heaven, and you really and truly appreciate, and you absorb and take in the beauty, this impact that you're experiencing for the first time. um, but the phenomenon that happens most of the time is that as time goes on, and I'm sure that you've experienced this, as time goes on, you start to take things for granted. So you get accustomed to the beautiful images, you get accustomed to, I don't know, when to your spouse. It's not like before when you first got married and you were in this phase where everything was beautiful and new, and all these things. And so that's a process. It's called visual lethargy. I think that I'm pronouncing it properly. And so I believe that we as Christians have to guard ourselves, and I'm speaking to myself first and foremost, against this phenomenon when it comes to spiritual things. And this is one of the beauties and the genius of the liturgy, is that um, God knows that we are people given to forgetfulness, to taking things for granted, and there, having this cycle, having this rhythm, or this religion, these traditions, where every so often we are reminded of the basics of Christianity. It's important for us because we're prone to wonder. We are prone to, as I said before, take things for granted and to just go through the motions, not appreciate our spouses, not appreciate Jesus, not appreciate our salvation, not appreciate, the so many material blessings that we have around us. I remember when I first came to this country 6 years ago, everything was so new. Everything, I looked around and everything was like, oh man, this is a land of opportunities. And it is. And, I bought my first car when I got to this country, and and I'm no spring chicken. So that tells you about my situation back in my country. I wasn't doing very well at all. And so, within 3 years of being here, or 4 years of being here, let me see. 3 years of being here, I bought my first vehicle, this truck that you see that I'm driving. And but there's the phenomenon that I've noticed in myself is that, you start to just being on, you start lacking in gratitude, and it's something I've tried to purposefully catch myself and snatch myself out of that situation. So every so often I just like to thank God for the material blessings, for my spouse, for the meals that we have every day in our house, that we have a full fridge. It's a blessing that unfortunately not many have, etc., etc. But here's what I think our visual liturgy, or in some cases it may be auditive liturgy. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that word correctly. I'm just going to put it here in the on the video. The word lethargical is a word. Liturgy. Oh man, I forget it. So here's how we are affected by this liturgy. Think about this. How many people in the world for this season that we are going through right now don't give a second thought about what the real celebration of this season is all about? And I'm not talking about the cliches, Jesus is the reason for this season and that kind of, no, I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. I'm talking about people that have real faith in a saving Jesus, that God has opened their ears to not only listen to the gospel, but believe the gospel. You know how many Jesuses there are out there? There is a Jesus that the homosexual, the LGBTIQRS, whatever letters they're included now, used to advance their agenda. There is a commercial Jesus, the businessmen and businesswomen used to sell their goods and manipulate people with all kinds of sales and gimmicks and stuff. There is that kind of Jesus. There's also the Jesus, the socialist Jesus. There is the kind of the Santa Claus Jesus, a Jesus that doesn't do, he's just like a clown, like a circus, wouldn't do any damage to you, or doesn't have any bite to him. There's a lot of Jesuses. But the fact that you and I believe in the real, true Jesus is a miracle in and of itself. Think about it. And here we are. We are among I would say the few that God has given this gift to. And so we should not take that for granted at all. We shouldn't take it for granted at all. But something else that struck me yesterday during the service, and I was meditating on these things, and I was almost, it brought me to tears. It was an emotional situation, the simplicity of the words of John 3:16. Sometimes when the more you study theology and the more you start kind of delving into the things of God and whatnot, you tend to forget the basics, forget where you came from, how it all started. What is the center of our religion? And I say religion on purpose because I know that some people are going to be triggered by that word. But who is what is the center of our religion? It is Jesus. Jesus in the beginning, Jesus in the middle, Jesus in the end. It is all about him. We should never and will never get tired of that. That Jesus in a day like today, or in a week like this week, that we are celebrating, came down, God himself came down from heaven. And he says, not to condemn the world, but to save the world, those that believe in him. And I started thinking, wow, that's an amazing thing. Think about this. In the book of Revelation, it is precisely that we're going to be worshiping our Lord for. Nothing else. And so some people, just use Jesus to kind of, some people have the belief that, Jesus is this type of monster where, he didn't necessarily come to give you the good news. He came to tell you that you're not predestined to be with him, to condemn you, which is kind of the opposite of the gospel. He didn't come to condemn us, but he came to save the world. He so loved the world that he came to save us. And one of the things that I thought about as I was thinking about this passage is, I thought to myself, why did he make it a point of saying that he did not come to condemn the world? Because if you read the narrative, and I did, I didn't go too deep into this because, as I said before, I didn't have the time. But if you think about it, there was nothing in the conversation with Nicodemus to kind of make Jesus go out on this tangent or mention this in the passage. Why did he go there? Nobody was talking about, the condemnation of the world. I don't think so. I have to go back, I guess, and read John chapter 2 and then go ahead and, read John chapter 4, or maybe the commentaries. Maybe someone listening to this video may comment on that. But I thought to myself, man, don't we have such a great God? Like, this is what I thought. This is my conclusions. Maybe I'm reading into the text or I'm speculating a little too much. But I thought to myself, if there's someone that has all the rights in the world to condemn us and to throw in our faces of how pitiful and terrible people that we are, it is Jesus himself. But he is so, I don't want to say nice, but he's so thoughtful. He's so giving to the salvation of humanity. He's so full of grace and mercy. He so wants to ease our consciences and give us hope, at least to me, because the Lord knows that I should be in hell. Like I should be a dead man. I know that for a fact. Like I'm not going to argue it. I'm guilty as charged. I deserve no second, third, fourth chances, nothing. But God was so kind to me that he wanted to reinforce that point and say, you know what? I didn't come to condemn you. I know that your conscience tells you that you are under condemnation. You deserve hell. But I didn't come here to give you the hell that you deserve. I came to save you. And that's special. That's special. That's special. God, ladies and gentlemen, God is in the business of saving people. And this is a season to remember that. Remember that. And we should never get tired of hearing that wonderful, simple gospel. And I would submit to you that if you at some point get sick and tired, or not sick and tired, that's too dramatic. But if you get kind of bored with that message, if you think that you have escalated or you are above that message, I know the foundations of our religion and whatnot, and it doesn't really rise me up. I think you need to check yourself. You need to check yourself. I think to not appreciate that is to lose your way. And I mean it. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic here or dramatic. I think it's tragic. Oh, I think it's tragic, and I've seen it in myself. And thank God that in our church we go back to the foundations. And I was thanking God of this, of being reminded of this very simple, basic message: the foolishness of the cross, the foolishness of God ridding himself of all the privileges. Jesus Christ, God himself, being born in the manger because he wanted to save people like me. And he didn't come to condemn the world, but to give a message of hope and love. He really cares about you. He really cares about you. That's special. There's no two ways around it. There's no two ways around it. And so may the Lord bless us. May the Lord keep us centered in what truly matters. I wish you all a Merry Christmas, and to continue meditating on what it is to be a Christian. This is a message of hope that Jesus was so eager to share that not even Nicodemus was asking about this. Nicodemus was not even, I don't think it was in his universe, this ideas. The conversation was not about that. But Jesus is in such a hurry to deliver the message that he will trump everything to give you this message. He doesn't want to talk about anything else. I came here to save the world. That is the main message, front and center of the gospel, of our religion, Christianity. Christ came to save the world. Be blessed. See you next time.